Hello everybody, welcome to Everything's a Project. This is going to be Millside Chat number 4. So, what do Major League Baseball and weather data have in common? Well, they've been around the same length of time, and every year they break records. The only difference though is that no matter how much money you spend on weather, you're not going to change it. Whereas with baseball, you can spend a bunch of money on new players or coaches and hopefully make a difference. So, right now everybody's hearing about how cold there is. 49 states are having weather emergencies, and Iowa with the Republican caucus coming up. It's the worst ever weather. Guaranteed it's not in Iowa. It's going to be cold. Yep, just like it is every year. This football game coming up, it's going to be the coldest ever there. Yeah, well, maybe it is. Okay, so I'm in the Phoenix, Arizona area, and this summer we had the hottest summer ever. It was the most 110 degree days in a row ever. It's the hottest. And then all the monkeys, it was the hottest year ever. 2023, we're all gonna die. Bullshit. There's a southern hemisphere that's the opposite of us. It was cold when we were hot in the summer. They were cold in the winter. I've seen machine shops in South Africa. The people are all bundled up head to toe in Arctic clothing. We won't ever have a giant raise in temperature in 1 year. If we do, we're dead, because that means the sun's put out a whole bunch of abnormal energy. So, with all this stuff, you need to do your own homework, do your own research, just like all the lefties always want to say, and then they'll post all these stupid, pre-cued stories that meet a narrative. Most of them are bullshit. They're written by college kids that have an agenda. They don't have, they don't dig. Okay, so, real world. We're real world. We have to deal with this every day. We're adults. We use our heads, right? We're machinists, most of us. So, hopefully you can see that good. So, my electric bills, they compare the weather, the temperature for that month, the average temperature per month, and I can do it either between the year before month or the month before. So, January 2024, the bill I just got, compared to January 2023, 2 degrees warmer. In January, isn't that a plus? I got to use less electric and less gas to heat my garage and my home, right? Okay, that's a plus. February 23 to February 2022, -4 degrees less. 4 degrees less. Well, by the end of February, we're into the 90s usually. I swear sometimes we've seen the hundreds, but I'm not sure if we really haven't seen it. So that's kind of a plus, right? Okay, March, we're starting to get warm in the Phoenix area. March 2023 to March 2022 was a 5 degree less in March of 23. I know we're only talking a year. I know this is only weather and it's not climate. But it all adds up. It all averages out. The earth is not getting warmer. Maybe 1/10 of a degree here and there. But nothing to tax everybody to death. Nothing to change how we all live. Reduce, reuse, recycle, improve. Insulate stuff better. You know, don't leave the doors open, you know, whatever. Just do to reduce. Okay, April, we're really getting warm in Phoenix, Arizona. We're driving away the snowbirds by now. Wait a minute. 6 degrees cooler. May. We're into summer now. At least Phoenix summer. -1 degree cooler between May 2023 to May 2022. June. Ditto. -1. July. Horrible ass July. Hotter than hell. 5 degrees cooler. This is the hottest summer we've ever had. Okay. Here it is right here. August 23. Compared to August 2022. For the month, it went up 6 degrees on average. And that's where we saw the most 110 degree days. And they also touted the most ever people died from heat in Phoenix and other places. Well, guess what? There's a whole lot more people living on the streets these days. That's what people should be worried about. Not about the temperature they can't do anything about. But Bidenomics is throwing a whole bunch of people on the streets. There's working people living on the streets. Not just drug addicts anymore. A few years ago in San Francisco, they did a survey. 99% of everyone living on the street had addiction problems. That's not the case anymore. There's families, there's working people living on the streets. You go out in the deserts around here and you'll find old motorhomes just parked out in the desert and people are living there because they can't afford homes. They can't afford to go to work anymore because they can't afford a car. Bidenomics is middle class genocide. And you got to realize that, because that goofball and all of his idiots are making all the wrong decisions and they affect all of us. I have a good job and I feel it. You guys probably have pretty good jobs and you feel it too, and you cannot say you don't. I got in a discussion online recently in the local Facebook page, and a woman was on there and she's like, I'm middle class, I don't feel anything. My friends don't feel anything. And so I responded to her and I go, well, if you had to buy a home or you had to buy a car, you really would feel it, because not only are you paying extra for both of those, you got to pay extra for the insurance on them. She comes back and she goes, I did buy a home and I did buy a car. I bought my home for cash. I bought my car for cash. Well, honey, you're not middle class. If you're middle class, you are right at the top, which is, I think last time I looked is, what? I'm going to botch that number. It's in the millions. So if you're paying cash for a house and a car in this economy, that means you're paying around $500,000 for a house in this area and $60,000 to $70,000 for a car. Okay? So let's move on. So, September, heat of the summer. It's only 2 degrees warmer. Okay, well, let's use their way they like to say everything. Well, it's going down. Just like the inflation rate, which went up again in December. Okay, now we're into October. No change. 1 year, 2023 to 2022, October, 0 change. November, just a couple months ago, plus 2 degrees. We're in winter now. Isn't that nice? A little warmer, a little less energy wasted. December, last month, plus 6 degrees warmer than the preceding year for December, which totals out to negative 4 degrees. 12 months, essentially from January 2023 to January 2024, the average temperature change in the Phoenix, Arizona area, where they keep telling us it's hotter than hell, 4 degrees less. Okay, so, you know, you just got to be cognizant of this stuff, because somebody will put it out and then it gets regurgitated over and over and over, and you cannot repeat these messages. You have to counter them, because it's just a brainwashing that goes on. You know, every news channel is going to say the same thing. You know, even like a Fox News, they won't look into this stuff. They'll just repeat it. You know, they're running 24/7 now on the Iowa caucus, and all they're talking about is cold, 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 cold. Nobody's coming out. There's blizzards. Everybody's going to die. I grew up in central New York. You had son of a bitch winters and you had mild winters. I went to boot camp, Great Lakes, Illinois, for the Navy, and that year it was cold. With wind chill, it was negative 70. Our uniform of the day was everything we were issued. So that included the hat, the watch cap, the ski mask, towel wrapped around your face. Like for your top, it'd be t-shirt, sweater, dungaree shirt. Yes, I'm the dungaree era. Dungaree shirt, working jacket, raincoat with liner, which is a fur liner. Our marching, you had gloves with hands in pockets, and relaxed march, so no marching. I didn't learn how to march. You know what else I didn't do? I didn't do the gas chamber. It was too cold. Imagine that. That was 30 years ago. And my little claim to fame, I've been in 3 boot camps, never did the gas chamber. Okay, so that's it. Use your head. Counter the communists, because they want to control everything. They use this information and falsify it, exaggerate it to try to change the narrative, make us do stuff we don't want to do or don't have to do. Okay, take care. Remember in November,